What's going on, guys? I'm Zach from the Lumios Post, where we talk about all things Pokemon, and today we are once again talking about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet releasing later this year. Specifically, we are talking about older gimmicks, that's Z-moves, Mega Evolutions, Gigantamax / Dynamax, not particularly in that order, and what their likelihood is for them to return in these games. So we're going to work our way backwards through the generations and begin with Generation 8's gimmick, which was Dynamax. Dynamax is when your Pokemon grows big. Gigantamax is where it gets a form change along with this and a signature move. And to be blunt, no, I don't think these will be returning in Scarlet and Violet. I think that they ran their course in Sword and Shield. They were the only gimmick in those games. We didn't have Mega Evolution or Z moves in those games. It was only Dynamax and Gigantamax. And furthermore, it is stated that the reason Pokemon can Dynamax in Galar is because of Eternatus' ties to the region. And, you know, they would have to make Eternatus have ties to this region in Scarlet and Violet in order for Dynamax to make sense here. And I don't think that'll be the case. I think that it is possible we'll see it one day, as Gigantamax Melmetal's information we know about it seems to suggest that there were other regions that encountered this Gigantamax Melmetal, or one other region at least. So that implies there are other regions that can Dynamax, but I just don't think they'll do it back to back, because again, they have to tie that to Eternatus, and I don't think Eternatus is going to get a pivotal role in two gens back to back. So no Dynamax, and because no Dynamax, obviously I don't think there'll be any new Gigantamax forms in these games. To move into Generation 7, we have Z-moves. Z-moves were done by the trainer having a Z-ring and the Pokemon holding a Z-crystal, and you could basically get a super-powered move. And there were some Pokemon, like Lycanroc, that had an exclusive Z-move that would have a secondary effect instead of just being a more powerful move. And I think these could return. I'm not certain about how much possibility that is, but I think that they could. And the reason I think that is because whereas, like we talked about with Dynamax, that's tied to the region has things that makes it possible there and kind of exclusive to there. With Z-moves, that's not the case. A Z-ring and a Z-crystal is all you need. In fact, we see in the anime, Ash has actually used Z-moves in the Sinnoh region while battling Volkner. You don't need it in any other place. You can use it anywhere. So because of that, it could return. They could just have a battle facility at the end of the game where we can get battle points and exchange them for Z-crystals, and they just update some kind of thing we have for the Gen 9 gimmick to be able to do Z-moves as well. Just like they did with the Z-ring, they updated in the post-game of Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon to be able to do Mega Evolution as well. They could do a similar thing here. The only reason I think that it could not happen is because we don't know Generation 10's gimmick yet. And I think there are some gimmicks that just wouldn't work well with other gimmicks. For example, the reason that we didn't see Mega Evolution or Z-moves in Sword and Shield is because Dynamax was, and pun absolutely intended here, too big for you to have all those things in there, because it becomes a question of, since Dynamax didn't require the Pokemon have a held item, can I give my Lucario Knight, Mega Evolve him, and then Dynamax my Mega Lucario? Or can I give my Lucario a Fightinium Z, which is the fighting type Z crystal, and Dynamax him, and then superpower my Max Knuckle to be a Z move? There's too many questions. Then there's the question of, can I only Mega Evolve in a battle? Can I only Dynamax? Do you just pick one and you won't be able to do the other? There's just too many questions, too many parts to that. So I don't think that they could have existed, Mega Evolution Z moves could have existed with Dynamax. And given that we don't know the Generation 10 gimmick yet, or 9, excuse me, getting way ahead of myself, then we don't know that Z moves could exist with it. I think that because they power up moves instead of just kind of being a form change and a stat boost, essentially like a new Pokemon like Mega Evolution is, I think Z Crystals are less likely than Megas to return. And with that said, let's just dive straight in with Mega Evolution. So with Mega Evolution, which was introduced in Pokemon X and Y way back in 2013, I think that we could see them. I'm feeling very hopeful about it. I'm trying not to get too hopeful because I love Mega Evolution. I thought that was the best gimmick by far. I would be fine if they stopped doing new gimmicks and just did Mega Evolution and added more every game or so. But I think that they've got a case for them, and there's multiple reasons why. For one, and I guess this could kind of be a point with Z moves as well, they're not done with them. They still have them in many different forms of media. We see Mega Evolution in the anime. Ash actually just got the ability to Mega Evolve Pokemon, which he didn't even get back in X and Y. He only got it in the current series, Pokemon Journeys, and he even Mega Evolves his Lucario, and that's kind of his Lucario's thing. So, it's being kept relevant. Same with Z moves as well. He's used his Pikachu's Z move, exclusive Z move. So again, both of those are kept relevant, and it's like they don't want to forget them. They don't want to leave them behind. Furthermore, it's kind of the fan favorite gimmick. I know that'll vary per person, but overall, Mega Evolution is the favorite of the gimmicks, and GameFreak knows that. They're not dumb. And furthermore, GameFreak has stated in the past that Mega Evolutions are not done. We have not seen, when we found out that Mega Evolutions wouldn't be in Sword and Shield, GameFreak stated, we're not done with Mega Evolutions. You'll see them again. I don't know how it could be any more cut and clear that we'll see them again. I mean, they're outright saying it. And I think these games would be the perfect time to do it because these games are set in the Iberian Peninsula, that's Spain and Portugal, which in the real world is right below, it's connected to France, which is Kalos in the Pokemon world. And Kalos is where Mega Evolution got its start, and it was the big games that introduced Mega Evolution. So it would be perfectly plausible for a character from Kalos, like Dexio or Cinia, or even Professor Sycamore himself, to pop over in the post-game of Scarlet and Violet and give us a Keystone. That said, it is always possible, like I said with Z moves, that this gimmick could be a little too much for Mega Evolution to coexist with it. But I'm going to choose to remain hopeful, possibly foolishly hopeful, that we will see Mega Evolution return in these games, at least in the post-game. I don't think they'll be a big part of the main story because, well, we know there's going to be some other kind of gimmick because the Japanese logo seems to tease something. But I do think we could see them again in the post-game. And furthermore, I think it should be noted that Mega Evolutions are, they're like new Pokemon. They are Pokemon themselves, you know what I mean? There's someone out there who, if you ask them, what's your favorite Pokemon? Their answer is going to be Mega Lucario. Not Lucario, Mega Lucario. They're like these new Pokemon. I guess you could say Gigantamax forms are that way, but I'd have to disagree there just because with Gigantamax forms, they only last 3 turns, whereas Mega Evolution lasts the entire duration of the battle. Even if I switch out my Mega Lucario, he is still a Mega Lucario until the battle ends. So when I throw him back out, he will still be a Mega Lucario. So to recap all those points, they haven't forgotten about it. Ash, in fact, just picked one up. The region is right next to the region that introduced Mega Evolution. And lastly, and possibly most importantly, it's a fan favorite, and the forms are fan favorites. That said, to move into if we could see new Mega Evolutions, like I said, I don't think Mega Evolution will play a role in the main story, and because of that, I don't think that they would give new Mega Evolutions to it. The only scenario where I personally could see them giving new Mega Evolutions would be if they did DLC for Scarlet and Violet, which is very likely because they've stated DLC will replace third version games. So instead of Pokemon Olive, we're going to get DLC for Scarlet and Violet unless they've changed something. So if they did DLC that brought in Megas and had you visit South Kalos, which is said to be a region south of, you guessed it, Kalos. If they decide to do that and that's how they introduce Megas, I could see them using Mega Evolutions to kind of be a staple of that DLC, much like Gigantamax, Urshifu, and Cubfu were staples of Isle of Armor, and Calyrex and the Steeds and the Calyrex forms were staples of the Crown Tundra. I could see them doing, oh look, we gave Mega Evolutions to Empoleon and Torterra and Infernape, and those are the staples of this part of the DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I could see that. Don't get your hopes up. I'm not an insider. I don't know anything, but I do think that that is certainly possible. Well, there you have it, guys. The likelihood of the older gimmicks, Gigantamax, Z-Moves, and Mega Evolution returning in Scarlet and Violet. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications because we have tons of more Scarlet and Violet videos coming up. And of course, we do talk about all things Pokemon here. Until next time, I will see all of you later.